Now then, I'm Chris from Stone and you're watching Build with A&E. What we're going to be doing today is carving this piece of stone for Tony. It's a bit of a surprise, so hopefully he likes it. We're going to cut it to size and then we're going to hand carve the logo of the company in the front and then give it a good polish up. So let's get going. Got it cut back now to size, and because I've heard Tony's a bit of a special guy, I've decided to change the idea a little bit. So I've cut this round so that stands out, just because when it's stood up, when these are cut, these letters and the round bit are cut in, it casts a different shadow. So when you look at it from different angles, you'll see a different aspect of it. So that's why we tend to have that bit stuck out and the letters cut in. It just gives it different angles on what it's doing. And then instead of it being stood upright, we're going to angle the back of it slightly, and that'll sit it back a little bit. So then again, it gives you a different shadow when the sun hits it. Now, this is always the tricky part, getting a complete circle. So as you can see, it's done by hand and not by a machine. All my work hand carved. Yeah, I use a grinder to speed it up a little bit, but at the end of the day, I'm still holding it with my hands. I left school at 16. I started working in a stone yard as soon as I left school, just labouring and doing bits and bats. I wanted a bit more for myself. I wanted a career, I wanted a trade. He said, do you want to go and be a stonemason? I didn't know what one was, just like a lot of people don't. I looked into it a little bit and I decided, yeah, seems a good idea, why not, let's give it a go. So I did my 3 years at college, but I wanted to be out working, earning money, making nice things that are going to last for hundreds of years. Things that I've made are going to be still standing after I'm long gone, which is always a nice thought. I was a banker mason for over 17 years. So basically I did your basic masonry like fireplaces, heads and sills, door surrounds and kneeler stones, copings and things like that. A lad came down to work one day and he started doing some carving, a sculptor that I know called Ryan. And I looked at what he was doing and I thought, I want a bit of that. That's the type of work I want to be doing. So I just picked up my mallets and chisels and started having a go and practicing, and the basic stuff at first, and then as the years have gone on, I've just done more and more, and I've started to really push it now, working for myself. It's like I did a Highland cow not so long ago. That was pretty special. Ryan helped me with that actually, because it's the first time I'd done something like that. He came down and spent a few hours with me, going through things and just basically helping me getting it going. In total, that took me 4 days to do, which isn't bad really. A lot of people ask me that, well, how long did that take you? And they expect me to say like 2 weeks or something, but no, it was 4 days in total. So now we've cut it to size. We've got this circle bit cut back, so that stands out. And then what we're going to be doing is we're going to start chiseling this circle out. It's called a V-cut. So I'll come in from both sides and it ends up being, it goes into the middle of there. That's why we call it a V-cut. So once that's worked out nice and neat, I then go into the letters and I'll be doing the little fiddly bits. Once they're done, we'll put the angle on the bottom so it tilts back like this. Curve these edges a bit just to give it another different look to it so it's not square. And then we give it a good polish up and we'll be about right. Everyone calls it a dying trade. I don't think it's a dying trade. I think it's more forgotten than dying. It's slowly going the way of machines. So you get your big fancy saws that'll do pretty much everything, and it'll just be up to somebody like myself to just tidy the edges up where the saw can't get to, which ain't good in my opinion. It's taking work away from people like myself that have been doing it for a long time. People then do come to me and say, look, I want it done by hand. They like the aspect that it's being done with somebody's hands. So now that I've got that bit worked out there, that's what we call a V cut. So you can see it's in the shape of a V. It's nice and neat. That line there should be halfway between these two lines. A question that I get asked a lot is, what chisels do you use? Well, these chisels I got from a company called CMS, and they're actually a French set of chisels. They are tungsten tipped, so this bit's all tungsten, which can get sharpened up. You need them nice and sharp to cut the letter in nice and crisp. Some of the little blades that I have, not a lot of people know about. So I've got little blades that go all the way down from, I think they're 125 when they start them. I have them that go all the way down to like 30 mil. Them, for me, have been a game changer. They just help so much getting into tight little spaces that normally you wouldn't be able to. You'd normally have to then work it out with your hands. This tool belt I got sent from Kryss Tools. Absolute godsend when out on site. So instead of having to cart everything up with me, I can load into my pockets what I need, and I'm just up there and it's all to hand. Instead of having to go down scaffolding, or back up, go back down, you know, when you forget something, I can just load everything up that I need, that I know I'm going to use, and I'm straight up. Yeah, so they've just started doing a stone mason setup. They wanted to expand, because normally it's all carpenters that use them. So advice to get into it, I do get asked quite a lot actually about how I got into it. Anybody that's wanting to do it now, I'd seriously look at, just try and watch stuff on social media, on YouTube and things like that of people doing it. Get an idea for it of what you want to be doing, because there's different aspects of it. There's cathedral masonry, there's commercial masonry like what I do, there's the carving side of things, which is then is another, like another step in a different direction. There's the stone dressing as well, which is good to get into. I'd seriously just look at, watch other people doing it as much as you can and go from there. You speak to colleges if they're still doing the courses. If not, speak to stone yards that are taking on people and just get into it that way. I wouldn't necessarily say there's just one route, but just have a go. Get some chisels, some basic chisels, and have a go at it. So what we're doing now is, because I've got that worked out, we've started on the letters now. This is the really tricky part, because the stone is quite open. I've got to be very careful with what I'm doing. I can't take too much off at once. It's all about little bits off at a time with these bits, because I want them to be nice and crisp and neat. Because if you just go for it and try to smash it all out at once, you're going to knacker the letters basically. That's what we're going to try and avoid. I do have a favourite type of stone. I love using a stone called Howley Park. It's from a quarry in Leeds. It's really tight. It's a grey colour. Now, the colour isn't why I like it so much. I like it because it's really tight, and the carvings that you can do with it are unreal. Because it is, the grain of the stone is so tight, it keeps all your lines very nice and neat. It's just really good to work with. It is a really nice stone to work with. Stone I don't like working with. The more gritty stuff, this in turn is quite open, which it's still nice to work with, and the colours in this are amazing. But the more grit stones, they're like big chunks of shells and all sorts of things. And when you're working it, you hit it and you're coming off it and bouncing away from it. So it just makes it more difficult. Or limestone, I'm not a massive fan of working limestone. That as well, that you can have really hard grains and bits and bats in there as well. So that can be quite tricky, especially when you're cutting. So if you see down here, you'll see like there's little pockets that are quite open. You see how on the back, you'll see that there's little pockets of bits that are open. There's air in there. Whereas with the tighter stuff, so this is the Howley Park Grey. It's all nice and tight. There's no little pockets or anything. Whereas this, you can see the difference in it. So that is really tight, whereas this is quite open. I don't know if you've noticed, but I'm leaving that bit till the end because it is so small. Doing that on there wouldn't be a problem, because like I was saying about the grain and how tight it is, that would have been fine. But because this is a little bit more open, that's going to be quite tricky to do. So just trying to get a different view of it. It's so harder to look down on it like that all the time. Now the tricky bit. Might ask you to turn cameras off for this. But we'll give it a go. I lost the lines for this a while ago. This is just all by eye. So the lines that I've got marked on, I can follow them when I'm doing something. But with this, because it is so small and because as I was explaining about the stone being quite open, it's hard to get it. As you're working it, you'll find a little bit that's softer. So your chisel just automatically goes to where it's soft. So I have to open them up a little bit. So that's what I'm saying about this is more freehand, this one, than following the exact lines of the other ones. But it's actually playing nice as a piece of stone, so now we've got the letters cut out, the circles cut out, the inner circle. I'm going to be putting an angle on here at the back so it sits on a tilt. Then once that angle's done, I'm going to be rounding off these corners and we're going to have a bit of a look at it and then see where we're going to go from there. So let's get cutting. So now I've put the angle on, you can see it's tilted back now, which will cast a better shadow on it. I've rounded these off with my flush cut blade. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to change the attachment. So this blade is called a vanity blade and we use this more for polishing bits up. So I'm going to be just running over, it'll take off less with that. That's a bit more abrasive and it really digs into it, whereas this one will just take off a little bit at a time and then we polish it up with this afterwards. So that's just a Velcro pad with a polisher. It's got different grades of grit. So I think that's a 60 grit. Basically, the further you go up the chain with it, it'll make it like glass. But we're not going to go that far because it's quite a rustic piece. So we're going to run the vanity blade over this now, just crisp it up a little bit. Then the polisher. Give the front a polish. The back a polish. Get a wash off and we'll be there or thereabouts. Right, so we're finished. It's been a really nice one to do this. I'm actually really happy with how it's turned out, but we're going to pass it over to Tony and see what he thinks. If you want to see anything else that I've done, if you go to @TomanyStone, I'm on Facebook, Instagram, everything, LinkedIn, the lot. So go check me out, see all my other work, and looking forward to seeing what Tony thinks. Thank you.
So guys, it's been a really crazy busy week this week, and I'm in the office on a Friday as I normally am. And I've just got this on my desk, so I'm just going to go and have open the present up and see what it's all about, really. Well, it looks like a bit of stone, actually. Wow, it's beautiful. It's absolutely amazing, that is. Oh wow, that is super cool. That is. And that looks absolutely breathtaking. I mean, that is like wow. I'm just like. That's stunning. All of this has been hand carved, I've just been told, and it's definitely going to take pride on my mantelpiece over here. You can see I've got my Tonka toy, I've got my rugby ball. You knew you were somebody if you owned a Tonka toy. Do you know what? I might even have to buy this, put it on my office desk, because it's just so cool. Look at that A&E, that's absolutely brilliant. I mean, I can't say a massive thank you to Kryss for doing this. This is just absolutely stunning, this is. In fact, I'm gonna give him a call and thank him because I think it's absolutely breathtaking and beautiful. So let's get on the phone now and give him a call. Hey Kryss, how you doing? Honestly, mate, I'm blown away. This is just absolutely breathtaking, mate. The class of the workmanship in that is absolutely breathtaking, mate. I was like, I didn't know what to say, mate. I'm speechless, mate. It's absolutely beautiful, mate. I can't thank you enough, Kryss. Honestly, it means so much to me, mate. It really is a beautiful thing that you've done, mate, and it's an amazing piece of craftsmanship as well, mate. It's absolutely stunning, mate.
It's not a problem. I spoke to a few people and they said that you were a special guy, so I thought, let's make something nice for him.
I'm going to show you where he's going to take pride of joy next to my rugby ball here. So when people walk into my office, I want them to see it straight away, and every time somebody walks in, I'm going to have to tell them the story behind it, because it's just absolutely brilliant, mate. And the stuff that you do on Instagram is amazing, sensational, you know, because the skill levels are, you know, it's amazing to see there's people still out there who can produce such high quality work, mate, you know.
Thank you very much, I do appreciate that coming from you.
I'm quite emotional about it actually, mate. I know it's not a bloke thing to say, is it really, Kryss? You know, so when I see you for the first time, I'm going to give you the big hugs. I'm going to take photographs and send it to all the family and everybody I know. So it's beautiful, mate.
Not a problem, it's all in the stone. The stone makes it look better than my work.
But please, if there's anything we can do here, just let me know, and anything we can do to help out in any way. Have a lovely weekend, and let's catch up soon, mate. I'd love to come and see you and spend a day with you, and sort of and come down and see the workshop and everything.
Definitely, we'll get something arranged, and either you'll come up and see me for the day, or I'll come down and see you, we'll get something arranged. Definitely.
Yeah, that'd be lovely, absolutely brilliant. You take care, thank you so much, mate, much appreciated. Take care, mate, bye-bye. What a cool guy, what a brilliant guy, isn't he? So guys, I'm going to put it in pride of place, as I said to Kryss just on the phone a minute ago. Let's go and put it on the sill itself. And I tell you what, this is really heavy. That's amazing, look at that, wow. There we go. Look at that, he's even put a slight angle on the base, so it just tips back, and look at that, guys. That is amazing. That is so cool. That's just breathtaking. Massive, massive thank you for Kryss for doing this. Definitely check out Tommy Stone on Instagram. Absolutely amazing quality craftsmanship. And make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to the channel, and see you soon. Take care, guys.